Hello everyone and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for April 22nd to the 29th. Happy Earth Day, wherever you are. I hope you have a beautiful day celebrating this beautiful planet and all life on it. Without further ado, let's get into the reading. I invite you to close your eyes and take 3 nice deep breaths so that we can sync our energy fields across time and space. You are an important part of this reading, and I welcome your energy and your input. I'd also like to invite you to envision a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, anchoring you deep into this present moment, and providing you with a ground as well as a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I am here with all of your children across time and space, and we are about to do a reading for our personal and collective highest and greatest good for the week ahead. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and collective highest and greatest well-being. I call upon my higher self, the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future, as well as an overlighting angel of communication to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it goes smoothly and beautifully and in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our heart and mind at this time in the window that we have together today. I'd also like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container across time and space of light, of clarity, of love, of wisdom, of healing, of transformation, of peace, of all that is in our collective heart and mind for our good. And anything that doesn't match these frequencies is welcome to go now. So let's get started, shall we? Okay. So what do we need to know, Creator? What is in our highest and best interest this week that we may be of service to life, to love in good ways? We need to know this week. Okay. The influence is waning in the recent past, but it continues into our present, into our future. We have the card of protection. This is the card of legacy. What is it that we are leaving for the future? It's a pentacles. It has to do with the earth element. It has to do with material things. And so we're looking at the energy of protection, of how do we take care of what is for the future? How do we contribute to the future? How do we think about life 7 generations hence? This is the energy of the sort of the past card, where we're sort of seated in our energy and moving through this week. This was going to be very important, our consideration of these pieces of our relationships with our children, our grandchildren, as I said, future generations. And, you know, collectively, what are we leaving them? How can we do a better job? And personally, what are we leaving to the next generation? What is our contribution to life? How are we adding to the collective field in good ways? So this card of protection is the name of this card. As I said, I get the sense more of it as a card of legacy, of you know, thinking about those estates in Europe where they were passed down from generation to generation to generation, and each generation brought a different contribution. Some of them helpful, some of them not. Some of them lost the whole estate in one generation. But that quality of taking responsibility, understanding that we're stewarding something rather than owning it or dominating it. If we are stewards of the things that we have in our charge, we take we have a different relatedness to them in the first place, and we understand that at some point we're handing it off to another. So if this was our perspective as stewards on this planet at this time, stewards of our lives, stewards of the property that is in our hands at this time, whatever that means, our gifts, our talents, our abilities, we're here to do good things with those things and to leave them in better condition for the next generation, for the next people who will come along, making our contribution, adding to the field of knowledge, and again, just this idea of meaningful contribution. Who are you? What are your gifts? What are your abilities? And what are you leaving for the future? So this energy continues into the present, into the future. It's an important consideration, the energy this week. The card of the present is the card of love, which is the beginning. It's the acorn that grows into the oak tree. So we have this new beginning on the level of love, this fresh start, but it's not just a small fresh start. This is quite an elaborate fresh start. This is quite a large fresh start. This is our hearts opening, living in love, living from a place of love, contributing from a place of love. Again, this idea of stewardship, loving what it is that we are caring for and contributing. Our place of contribution comes from this energy of love. So that's sitting in our present environment. So we have that lovely energy of, let's be in our hearts. New beginnings on the heart level. How do we be humans from the heart, from our now, from this space that we exist in, our field of energy, so to speak? How do we exist from here and move out into the world and respond to the world from that good place? The next card is the near future card. We have the Fool. The Fool is all about that eager anticipation, the beginning of the journey, being willing and brave and open to the journey. Think about it as first day of summer vacation when you're a child and you have all that time ahead of you, unstructured, unplanned, where you get to do what you want with it. And I hope you had that kind of childhood. If you didn't, I'm very sorry. Or perhaps the first morning of a holiday when you wake up and you haven't even had your cup of coffee yet, but you're in your hotel room or your tent or wherever you are in eager anticipation of the time ahead of you, the fun that you're going to have, the things you're going to see, the enjoyment you're going to experience. The energy of the Fool is that quality of eager anticipation, the beginning of the journey. So that's what we're moving towards. It's fresh beginnings, this idea of fresh starts, of newness, of taking things in a direction we've never been in before and seeing where it goes and trusting the process. Being open to being guided and open to leading with our heart and following the heart, following the guidance of the heart and going in these new directions with eager anticipation. So that's our near future. This coming this week as we're moving into this, relaxing into the eager anticipation. I don't know about you guys, but often I feel like, oh, when's the next shoe going to drop? I think that's okay considering what we've been through the past few years. But learning to trust and believe that there is a something more happening. We are on the beginning of something more exciting and more interesting and more expansive and enjoyable. Okay, and the foundation card we have the Six of Wands, which is the card of victory. This is creativity, inspiration, and passion because it's a wand, and it has to do with what brings us to joy. Victory, living. Can you imagine that state of victory, that transcendent? It's not victory over another. It's that feeling of success in one's life, whatever that is defined for as you. This is the foundation of the card of this week, is this energy of victory, of transcending obstacles, of moving powerfully forward. If we look, we have the rider on the horse leaping over the flames quite jubilantly. There's sort of this freedom of expression and this freedom of unleashed, the quality of being unleashed. And so this is the energy, this is the foundation of this week, is this quality of the creative, generative energy of thriving on it and enjoying it and allowing ourselves to be buoyed by it and savoring it. And it's so interesting, we come from this legacy bit, this what are we leaving for the future, which with Earth Day is very, very appropriate. It's how are we taking care of this planet? How are we in relationship to the planet? How are we in relationship to ourselves? What's our relationship to the planet? What's our relationship as a collective to the planet? It hasn't been great. We need to heal that. But this idea of legacy, thinking broader. And as I said, if we step into the paradigm of steward rather than owner or rather than master of, we have a very, very different interaction and relatedness to our environment and to those we share this planet with. We do things differently. We are more conscientious and intentional about our relationship, knowing that we're handing it off. So that's very important. Then this stepping into this idea of steward, of co-creative, it's like an opening of the heart. We become more heart open and more able to approach life in a congruent, aligned way. And from that space, things become exciting. We understand that it's a journey, it's a new beginning, a fresh beginning. And we can be eager for all that we're going to create there because we're coming from a new place collectively in humanity and personally. There's this new opening on the heart because we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. The changes that are happening inside of us are the same ones that are happening on the collective level. And as we move through this personally, we are flowing with the bigger picture, the bigger energy that's underway right now. And the new beginnings, as I said, eager anticipation, being willing to take the journey, being willing to go for it, and the energy of victory, of being in that state of jubilant expression. It ties into this eager anticipation, the success that comes from being immersed in what we love and creating what we love and giving what we love to the world. So this is our foundation card for this week, this sort of jubilant, victorious quality of energy of being kind of full throttle in our expression of our good. So I think those are very lovely, lovely cards. And let's see what our card to grow on is going to be. Okay. So Creator, how do we take these distinctions and these awarenesses forward with us this week so that we can thrive and continue to grow in good ways, to be all that we're here to be, support each other into our best? How do we do all that? What is our method? What do we need to be mindful of? There we go, the Fool. Eager anticipation. That's our work. Looking for the good. Again, coming back to that energy of waking up on the first day of a holiday, or that new beginning, that fresh start, that fresh beginning, letting that generative energy carry us. You know, as we said, I think we've looked at this card before. I know we've looked at this card before many times, I think. But he's carrying the mask, and the mask is looking behind. This is only taking what works forward with us. We're not turning around and looking at the past. We're just carrying forward what we value from it and moving forward into the light, into the more beauty, into a more co-creative experience, and into this new beginning, this new start, this fresh start. And it isn't a destination that we're arriving at. It is a journey. We are on a journey of change, of transformation, personally and collectively. And the journey is easier when we are living from the inside out rather than the outside in. We need to come back to our hearts. Who are we? And living that truth in the world, not living according to somebody else's synthetic dictates about, maybe that works for them, but it doesn't work for everybody. We all have our own unique rhythms and abilities and talents. And it's important for us to tap into that energy because that's where our strength is. That's our superpower, is part of who we are. It's not outside of us. So this card is the card to grow on. The Fool, Major Arcana. Stepping into a willingness to take the journey and to trust something bigger, broader, wiser than we are, and allow ourselves to just go with that. That's that heart opening, that trust. It's a different experience. It's different. We've all been so head-based, and we're moving to a heart-based existence, and it's going to take a while for us to get used to that, especially those of us who thrived in the mental sort of state. But our power is in our hearts now, in our felt experience, and moving through our feelings, moving through our emotions, understanding that we are getting there through what is before us rather than avoiding it or rationalizing it or somehow sidestepping it. The way forward is through, and it's going to be good. It already is. It's just we don't have a big picture of it just yet. So that's coming. So that's our card to grow on. I do hope that the reading this week has been helpful to you. I hope you have a beautiful Earth Day wherever you are celebrating our home. And just invite us all to think about who we are and how are we stewarding our piece of life, stewarding our skills, our abilities, our talents, our contributions to the world? Are we making good use of those things? Are we leveraging our gifts and abilities for the good, for our good personally and the good of the world? It's important stuff for us to think about and consider and to bring forward in our experience. I hope this has been helpful. As I said, have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next week. If this reading has been helpful, please subscribe and share. The reading is for all of us, that we may grow and thrive and become more than we are, for our best. Thank you, Creator, for the opportunity to do this work. The reading is at an end. Thank each of you, every one of you, for being here this week. Lots of love, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. The reading is at an end.